Roy was a young, naive boy. One day he was doing chores as usual. Suddenly he felt a weight on his heart which shocked him. The more he thought about it, the greater the pain became. He didn't tell his loving family and went to sleep. Moments after this, he woke up to the terrible sound of sirens emitting a deafening noise. He then felt the floor shaking from beneath him. He rushed to his room's balcony. He then realized. As he lifted his eyes to the sky, he observed something massive making its slow descent to the ground, like a mountain, in the form of a big dog's paw. He watched in terror as it was about to strike the ground, revealing a gigantic hairy leg above. The moment of the paw's impact on the ground, a huge earthquake shook every building in the area, and the strong heat wave violently blew everything away. Only Roy in his house was unaffected by this. Roy began to scream loudly and cry, but he couldn't look away from this outwardly sight. The hairy leg was less than a quarter of a mile away from his house, on the side of which he observed the creature, violently making its way to the ground, practically falling through the massive leg's hair. Once it reached the ground, it looked menacingly at Roy, growling and standing still. Roy couldn't believe in his eyes, while he was also overwhelmed by everything that just happened. He then turned his attention to the surrounding area, seeing the amount of destruction and complete obliteration that was caused by that gigantic leg. Dead bodies, cars turned upside down, fallen trees, and collapsed buildings. After a while, an unsettling silence took over, and the only thing Roy could hear was his fast breathing, which was suddenly interrupted by the sound of fast steps. As Roy looked at the annihilated area in front of his house, he saw that creature from before, which resembled a wolf, running in an impossible space towards him, passing through obstacles, and then eventually taking a leap to Roy's balcony, where it landed right in front of him. The wolf growled angrily and stared at Roy, its eyes piercing his. Roy, frightened, made some steps back, stumbled on something, then fell with his back on the floor. He closed his eyes, trying to convince himself that he's dreaming and none of this is real. The wolf approached him slowly, still growling, until he was finally a feet away from Roy, who decided to open his eyes again. Roy felt vulnerable and helpless. He tried to defend himself, but it wasn't long until the wolf bit his hands and legs, ripping off a fair amount of flesh with its bite from Roy's body. Roy's terror and despair began to fade away after some point, as he could no longer feel his body, accepting his death. He died. The wolf stared at Roy's dead body, its claws and teeth dripping with blood. Some of Roy's dismembered organs were scattered all over his room's floor. After a while, the wolf stepped on Roy's soulless body and laid on top of it, resting. Mater disappeared immediately after this.